The Xylos were the oldest and wisest species in the galaxy. They had been studying the universe for 12 million years. They had seen stars born and die. They had seen empires rise and fall. They had seen every kind of life. And they had learned one thing above all else. Energy was life. Energy was peace. Energy should never be a weapon. The Xylos had mastered infinite energy. It was clean. It was endless. It could power a city for 1 billion years. It could heal wounds and grow food and light the darkest corners of space. The Xylos shared this gift with species they trusted. Species that understood that energy was for building, not destroying. Species that had learned to live in peace. When the Xylos discovered humans, they were not impressed. Humans were young. Their history was short. Their technology was simple. They still burned fossil fuels. They still used nuclear fission. They still fought wars over oil and land and religion. The Xylos saw a primitive species struggling to grow up. They felt pity. They felt hope. They decided to help. The Xylos sent an ambassador to Earth. Her name was Seri. She was old by human standards. 500 years. But young for a Xylos. She had seen many worlds. She had given the gift before. She expected gratitude. She expected peace. She did not expect what came next. Seri stood before the human leaders. She was tall and silver and glowing. She spoke in a voice like wind through leaves. We have watched you for many years. You struggle. You fight. You hurt each other. But we see potential. We see a species that could become great. We offer you a gift. The gift of infinite energy. Clean. Endless. Free. The human leaders were silent. They had heard of the Xylos. They had heard of the gift. They had not believed it was real. But here was an alien ambassador, offering them the stars. Offering them everything. The leader of the Human Council was a woman named President Eva Chen. She was a scientist before she became a politician. She understood energy. She understood the gift. She also understood humans. Thank you, Eva said. We accept. But we have questions. Seri smiled. Of course. Ask anything. Eva asked her first question. What are the limits? Seri shook her head. There are no limits. The energy is infinite. It will never run out. It will never fail. It will never harm. Eva asked her second question. What are the costs? Seri smiled again. There are no costs. We give this gift freely. No payment. No conditions. No hidden agreements. We only ask that you use it for peace. Eva asked her third question. What happens if we do not? Seri's smile faded. She had never been asked that question before. Other species had accepted the gift with joy, with gratitude, with tears. No one had asked about failure. No one had asked about war. I do not understand, Seri said. Why would you not use it for peace? Eva looked at the other human leaders. They nodded. They understood. Humans were not perfect. They never had been. They had been given many gifts before. Fire, electricity, nuclear power. They had used them for good. They had also used them for harm. They knew themselves. They knew their flaws. They knew that a gift could become a weapon. We are not like the other species you have helped, Eva said. We are younger. We are messier. We make mistakes. We hurt each other. We are trying to be better. But we are not there yet. We accept your gift. But we cannot promise we will never misuse it. We can only promise to try. Seri did not know what to say. She had never met a species so honest about its own flaws. She had never met a species that admitted it might fail. She looked at the human leaders. They were small and soft and fragile. But their eyes were strong. Their words were true. They were not pretending to be perfect. They were just being human. The gift is yours, Seri said. Use it wisely. Use it for peace. That is all we ask. The humans accepted the gift. They built the first infinite energy reactor within a year. It powered a small city, then a large city, then a continent. Within a decade, Earth was transformed. No more fossil fuels. No more nuclear waste. No more energy wars. The air was clean. The water was pure. The future was bright. The Xylos watched with joy. They had helped another species. They had done good. They expected gratitude. They expected peace. They did not expect what came next. A young human scientist named Dr. Liu Chen was studying the infinite energy source. He was curious. He was careful. He was human. He noticed something strange. A small fluctuation. A tiny instability. A crack in the perfect gift. The Xylos had never noticed it because they never looked for flaws. They trusted their gift. They trusted their peace. Humans did not trust anything. They asked questions. They ran tests. They found the crack. Leo reported his discovery to President Eva Chen. The energy source is stable, he said. But it has a weakness. A small one. If we manipulate it just right, we can create a tear in space-time. Not a big one. Just a temporary hole. We could use it to move things. Eva looked at him. Her eyes were tired. Move things where? Leo shrugged. Anywhere. Nowhere. The edge of the galaxy. The beginning of time. We do not know yet, but we could use it as a weapon. If we had to. Eva was silent for a long time. She thought about the Xylos. Their gift. Their trust. Their hope. She thought about her own people. Their flaws. Their fears. Their need to survive. She made a decision. Keep working, she said. Do not tell the Xylos. Not yet. This is our secret. Our backup. Our last resort. I hope we never use it. But if we do, I want to be ready. Leo nodded. He returned to his lab. He kept working. The Xylos watched from afar. They saw a species thriving. They saw clean energy and peaceful cities. They saw gratitude. They saw hope. They did not see the small lab where a young scientist was learning to weaponize their gift. They did not see the crack. They did not see the storm coming. But the humans saw. They always saw. Because they always looked. And what they found would change the galaxy forever. Not because they wanted to. Because they had to. Because survival was not a choice. It was a human instinct. And humans, the Xylos would learn, were very, very good at surviving. Dr. Leo Chen was not a soldier. He was not a general. He was not a politician. He was a scientist. A curious one. The kind who could not leave a question unanswered. The kind who took things apart to see how they worked. The kind who asked what if when everyone else was satisfied with it is. The Xylos had given humanity the gift of infinite energy. It was clean. It was endless. It was perfect. Or so they said. Leo was grateful. Everyone was grateful. The energy had transformed Earth. No more coal. No more oil. No more nuclear waste. The air was clean. The water was pure. The future was bright. But Leo could not stop thinking about one question. A question that made the Xylos uncomfortable. A question that no one else was asking. What happens if we weaponize this? He asked the question at a meeting of the Global Energy Council. The Xylos ambassador, Seri, was there. She had come to check on the humans. To see how they were using the gift. To make sure they were using it for peace. Leo stood up. He was young. His hair was messy. His shirt was wrinkled. He looked like he had not slept in days. Ambassador Seri, he said. I have a question. Seri smiled. Of course, Dr. Chen. Ask anything. Leo took a breath. What happens if we weaponize this energy source? The room went silent. The other human leaders stared at Leo. Some were shocked. Some were angry. Some were curious. Seri's smile faded. Her silver face turned pale. Weaponize, she said. Why would you ask such a thing? Energy is for life. Not death. We gave you this gift so you could build. So you could grow. So you could live in peace. Not so you could destroy. Leo nodded. I understand. But I am a scientist. I study possibilities. I need to know the limits of this energy. What happens if someone tries to use it as a weapon? What are the dangers? What are the consequences? Seri shook her head. There are no dangers. The energy is stable. It is safe. It cannot be weaponized. We designed it that way. How do you know? Leo asked. Have you tried? Have you run experiments? Have you tested every possibility? Seri was silent. The Xylos had not tried. They had not run experiments. They had not tested every possibility. They had designed the energy source for peace. They had assumed it could only be used for peace. They had never asked the question. They had never needed to. We have not, Seri admitted. But we trust our design. We trust our intentions. We trust that no one would be so foolish as to weaponize a gift of peace. Leo looked at her. His eyes were kind, but his words were sharp. Trust is good, but trust is not science. I need to know. For my own peace of mind. For the safety of my people. Will you help me find the answer? Seri refused. She said the question was dangerous. She said the answer did not matter. She said the humans should focus on building, not destroying. She left the meeting. She returned to her ship. She hoped the question would go away. It did not. Leo kept asking. He asked his colleagues. He asked his students. He asked anyone who would listen. What happens if we weaponize this? Most people thought he was crazy. Why would anyone want to weaponize a gift of peace? Why would anyone look for danger when there was so much good? But Leo could not stop. He was a scientist. Scientists asked questions, even uncomfortable ones, even dangerous ones, even ones that made aliens uncomfortable. He gathered a small team. They worked in secret. They did not tell the Xylos. They did not tell the government. They just worked. They studied the infinite energy source. They ran simulations. They built models. They tested hypotheses. For months, they found nothing. The energy was stable. It was safe. It was perfect. Just as the Xylos had said. Then Leo found the crack. It was small. Tiny. Almost invisible. A fluctuation in the energy field. A wobble. A weakness. The Xylos had never noticed it because they never looked for flaws. They trusted their design. They trusted their intentions. They never asked what if. Leo asked. Leo looked. Leo found. The crack was not a flaw in the energy itself. It was a flaw in the way the energy interacted with space-time. Under normal conditions, the energy was perfectly stable. But under extreme conditions, under precise manipulation, the energy could be made to do something unexpected. Something the Xylos had never imagined. It could tear a hole in space-time. Not a big hole. Not a permanent hole. Just a small tear. A temporary rip. A doorway that could be opened and closed. The energy could be used to move things. Not through space. Through reality. A ship could be sent to the edge of the galaxy in an instant. A weapon could be sent to another dimension. A city could be displaced. Leo stared at his calculations. His hands were shaking. He had found what he was looking for. The infinite energy source could be weaponized. Not as a bomb. As something worse. Something that could change the shape of the universe. Something that could rewrite the rules of existence. He sat back in his chair. He looked at the ceiling. He thought about the Xylos. Their gift. Their trust. Their hope. He thought about his own people. Their flaws. Their fears. Their need to survive. He thought about the crack. The small, invisible crack that the Xylos had never seen. The crack that could save humanity. Or destroy it. He picked up his phone. He called President Eva Chen. "We need to talk," he said. "I found something. Something the Xylos missed. Something big." Eva was silent for a moment. Then she spoke. "Is it dangerous?" Leo looked at his calculations again. The numbers were clear. The crack was real. The possibility was real. The danger was real. "Yes," he said. "But it could also save us. If we ever need it. If we ever have no other choice." Eva sighed. "Keep working. Keep it secret. Do not tell the Xylos. Not yet. This is our backup. Our last resort. I hope we never use it. But if we do, I want to be ready." Leo nodded. He ended the call. He returned to his work. The crack was still there. Small. Invisible. Waiting. The Xylos had given humanity a gift. But humans had found something the Xylos had never seen. A question they had never asked. An answer they had never imagined. And that answer would change everything. Not because humans wanted war. Because humans wanted to survive. And survival, Leo knew, was the oldest question of all. The KRYLL came without warning. Their ships were dark and sharp, like teeth against the stars. They had been watching Earth for years. Waiting. Planning. They saw the humans as weak. Soft. Easy prey. The KRYLL were warriors. They had conquered 100 worlds. They had never lost a battle. They did not expect to lose this one. The attack began at dawn. KRYLL ships filled the sky above every major city. Weapons fired. Buildings fell. People screamed. The human defense forces fought back. They had good ships. Good weapons. Good soldiers. But they were outmatched. The KRYLL were faster. Stronger. More experienced. The humans were losing. President Eva Chen watched from the command bunker. Her face was pale. Her hands were steady. She had known this day might come. She had hoped it would not. But she had prepared. She had a secret. A weapon. Something the KRYLL could not predict. Something the Xylos had never imagined. "Call Dr. Chen," she said. "Tell him we need the device." Dr. Leo Chen was already on his way. He had been waiting for this moment. He had hoped it would never come. But he was ready. His team had built 3 devices. Small. Simple. Deadly. They did not destroy. They displaced. They opened a tear in space-time and pushed things through. Not into nothing. Into somewhere else. Far away. Too far to come back. Leo arrived at the bunker with the devices in a metal case. He opened the case. The devices looked like nothing special. Metal cylinders. Blue lights. Small enough to hold in one hand. These will not kill anyone, Leo said. They will not burn or crush or poison. They will simply move. The KRYLL ships will be sent to the edge of the galaxy. It will take them thousands of years to return. If they ever do. Eva looked at the devices. She looked at the screens showing the burning cities. She looked at the faces of her people, scared and dying. Do it, she said. Leo took the first device. He walked to the surface. The sky was dark with KRYLL ships. The air was thick with smoke. He raised the device. He pressed the button. The device activated. A blue light flashed. The sky ripped open. A tear in space-time. A wound in reality. The KRYLL ships closest to the tear were pulled in. Not destroyed. Just gone. One moment they were there. The next moment they were not. The other KRYLL ships saw what happened. They tried to flee. They could not. The tear was too wide. The pull was too strong. Ship after ship was pulled in. Thousands of ships. Millions of soldiers. Gone. Sent to the edge of the galaxy. Far from Earth. Far from the war. The tear closed. The sky was clear. The KRYLL fleet was gone. Leo stood in the smoke, holding the device. His hands were shaking. He had done what he had to do. But he felt no joy. Only a deep, hollow sadness. He had weaponized a gift of peace. He had used infinite energy to send living beings into the void. He had done the unthinkable. Eva came out of the bunker. She stood beside him. She looked at the empty sky. How many? She asked. Leo shook his head. I do not know. Thousands of ships. Millions of soldiers. They are not dead. Just far away. Too far to come back. Too far to hurt us. Eva was silent for a long time. Then she spoke. We did what we had to do. We protected our people. That is not a crime. That is survival. Leo nodded. But he could not shake the feeling that they had crossed a line. That they had become something new. Something dangerous. Something the Xylos had never imagined. The Xylos arrived within hours. Ambassador Seri came to Earth. She saw the empty sky. She saw the smoke. She saw the faces of the humans, relieved and haunted. She demanded an explanation. What did you do? She asked. Eva told her. About the device. About the tear. About the KRYLL fleet sent to the edge of the galaxy. Seri listened. Her silver face turned pale. Her hands shook. You weaponized the gift, Seri said. You took infinite energy, the purest force in the universe, and you turned it into a weapon. You did the unthinkable. Eva looked at her. Her eyes were tired. Her voice was steady. You gave us the gift for peace. But peace is not passive. Peace is not surrender. Peace is the ability to defend what you love. The KRYLL attacked us. They killed our people. They burned our cities. You refused to help. You said you believed in peace. But your peace was just watching. Just hoping. Just standing by while we died. Seri had no answer. She had no answer because Eva was right. The Xylos had watched. They had hoped. They had done nothing. Their peace was not peace. It was cowardice. We did not want to do this, Eva said. We did not choose this war. But we will not lose it. Your gift saved us. Not because we used it for peace. Because we used it to protect. That is not unthinkable. That is human. Seri left Earth. She returned to her people. She told them what had happened. The Xylos were horrified. They called the humans barbarians. Traitors. Monsters. They cut off contact. They withdrew their ambassadors. They pretended Earth did not exist. But the humans did not care. They had survived. They had protected their people. They had done what they had to do. The KRYLL were gone. The war was over. The galaxy was changed. Leo returned to his lab. He looked at the remaining devices. 2 more. Ready. Waiting. He hoped he would never have to use them. But he knew he would. Because the galaxy was full of enemies. And humans, the soft, small, fragile humans, would do whatever it took to survive. Even the unthinkable. Especially the unthinkable. That was the human way. Not pretty. Not peaceful. But alive. And sometimes, Leo thought, alive was enough. The galaxy was shocked. News of what the humans had done spread faster than light. The Xylos had given them a gift of peace, infinite energy to build and grow and thrive. And the humans had turned it into a weapon. They had used it to tear open space-time, to send an entire alien fleet to the edge of the galaxy, to win a war not with strength or courage, but with a gift meant for life. The Xylos were the angriest. They had trusted the humans. They had believed in them. They had seen potential in the small, soft, fragile species from the blue planet. Now they saw only betrayal. Ambassador Seri stood before the Xylos Council. Her voice was cold. Her eyes were hard. The humans have done the unthinkable, she said. They have taken the purest force in the universe and turned it into a weapon of war. They are barbarians, traitors, monsters. We should never have trusted them. The council agreed. They cut off all contact with Earth. They recalled their ambassadors. They stopped sharing technology. They pretended the humans did not exist. The galaxy followed their lead. Other species, afraid of what the humans might do, also turned away. Earth was isolated, alone, hated. The humans did not apologize. Dr. Liu Chen stood before the Galactic Council. He had been summoned to explain, to defend, to justify. He was not a politician. He was not a soldier. He was a scientist. A curious one. The kind who asked questions. The kind who found answers. The kind who did what had to be done. The council chamber was full. Representatives from 100 species stared at him. Some were angry. Some were afraid. Some were curious. Leo walked to the center of the room. He was young. His hair was messy. His shirt was wrinkled. He looked like he had not slept in days. He had not. You have called me here to answer for what we did, Leo said. I will answer. Not with apologies. With truth. He looked at the Xylos representative. Seri sat in the front row. Her silver face was hard. Her eyes were cold. You gave us infinite energy for peace, Leo said. We accepted. We were grateful. We used it to build, to grow, to heal. We did not ask for war. We did not want war. But war came to us. He turned to face the whole council. The KRYLL attacked us. They burned our cities. They killed our people. They showed no mercy. We asked for help. We asked the Xylos to defend us. They refused. They said they believed in peace. They said they would not fight. They left us alone to die. His voice grew louder. Not angry. Passionate. Peace is not passive. Peace is not surrender. Peace is not watching while your neighbors are slaughtered. Peace is the ability to defend what you love. Peace is the courage to stand up to those who would destroy it. The Xylos gave us a gift. But they did not give us the right to use it. They did not give us the choice. They expected us to follow their rules, their beliefs, their fears. He paused. The chamber was silent. We did not choose this war. But we would not lose it. Your gift saved us. Not because we used it for peace. Because we used it to protect, to defend, to survive. That is not barbarism. That is not treachery. That is not monstrosity. That is humanity. The council was silent. Some representatives looked away. Some nodded. Some wept. Seri's face had changed. The hardness was gone. In its place was something else. Confusion. Doubt. Perhaps even understanding. You speak of protection, Seri said. But you sent millions of beings to the edge of the galaxy. They are not dead. But they are lost. Alone. Far from home. Is that protection? Is that peace? Leo looked at her. His eyes were tired. His voice was soft. No, he said. It is not peace. It is war. War is ugly. War is painful. War is full of hard choices. We did not want to send them away. We wanted to live in peace. But the KRYLL did not give us that choice. They gave us only two options. Fight or die. We chose to fight. We chose to live. That is what beings do. That is what humans do. We survive. He walked back to the center of the chamber. You gave us a gift. We are grateful. But a gift is not a leash. A gift is not a command. A gift is not a promise to follow your rules forever. We will use your gift as we see fit. For peace. For protection. For survival. That is our right. That is our choice. You may call us barbarians, traitors, monsters, but we are alive, and we will stay alive, with or without your approval. He left the chamber. No one stopped him. No one spoke. The council sat in silence, trying to understand what had just happened. The humans had done the unthinkable. But they had not apologized. They had not begged for forgiveness. They had not asked for understanding. They had simply explained. And their explanation, the council realized, was harder to argue with than any weapon. The Xylos did not restore contact with Earth. They could not. The wound was too deep. The betrayal too fresh. But they did not forget Leo's words. Peace is the ability to defend what you love. They had never thought of peace that way. They had thought of peace as absence. Absence of conflict. Absence of violence. Absence of war. But Leo had shown them another kind of peace. A living peace. A breathing peace. A peace that fought to exist. The galaxy did not know what to do with the humans. They were too dangerous to ignore. Too unpredictable to trust. Too alive to forget. So the galaxy watched. Waited. Wondered what the humans would do next. And the humans, isolated and hated, went back to their world. They rebuilt their cities. They healed their wounded. They buried their dead. And they kept working. Kept building. Kept surviving. Dr. Leo Chen returned to his lab. He looked at the remaining devices. 2 more. Ready. Waiting. He hoped he would never have to use them. But he knew he would. Because the galaxy was full of enemies. And humans, the soft, small, fragile humans, would do whatever it took to survive. Not because they wanted to. Because they had to. That was the human way. Not pretty. Not peaceful. But alive. And sometimes, Leo thought, alive was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The KRYLL returned. They came back from the edge of the galaxy, angry and hungry for revenge. Their journey had taken years. Years of drifting through dark space. Years of wondering why they had been sent away. Years of planning what they would do when they returned. Now they were back. And they wanted blood. The KRYLL fleet was smaller than before. Many ships had been lost in the void. But the ships that remained were hardened. Their crews were furious. They had not forgotten the humans. They had not forgiven them. They had come to destroy. The KRYLL commander was named Vex. He had been a young soldier when the humans sent him away. Now he was old. His armor was cracked. His face was scarred. His heart was full of hate. He looked at the blue planet below and remembered the day he had been pulled through the tear. The fear. The confusion. The rage. Today, he said, we burn it all. The KRYLL ships moved into formation. Weapons charged. Soldiers prepared. They were ready to attack. But something was wrong. The humans were not panicking. They were not hiding. They were not begging for mercy. They were waiting. Calm. Quiet. Ready. Dr. Leo Chen stood on the surface of Earth, looking up at the KRYLL fleet. He was old now. His hair was gray. His face was lined. His hands shook. But his eyes were clear. His voice was steady. He held a small device in his hand. Not a weapon. A communicator. KRYLL commander, he said. This is Dr. Leo Chen. I am speaking for the people of Earth. We know why you have come. We understand your anger. We do not blame you for wanting revenge. But we ask you to listen before you attack. Vex heard the voice. He remembered it. The same voice that had spoken to the Galactic Council. The same voice that had refused to apologize. The same voice that had called peace the ability to defend what you love. Speak, Vex said. But make it fast. I am not patient. Leo took a breath. We can send you home, he said. Not to the edge of the galaxy. To your actual home. Your worlds. Your families. Your lives. We have learned to control the tear. We can open it and close it with precision. We can send you exactly where you want to go. Vex was silent. He had not expected this. He had expected weapons. Threats. Lies. He had not expected an offer of help. Or, Leo continued, we can help you. We have infinite energy. We have infinite possibilities. We have used our gift to build new things. Not just weapons. Communication devices that work across galaxies. Transportation systems that can move entire worlds. Healing machines that can cure any disease. We can share these things with you. We can build together. Grow together. Live together. The choice is yours. Vex stared at the blue planet. He had come for revenge. He had come to destroy. But the humans were not offering a fight. They were offering a choice. A choice he had never been given before. A choice between war and peace. Between destruction and creation. Between hate and hope. Why? Vex asked. Why would you help us? We attacked you. We killed your people. We burned your cities. You sent us away. You should hate us. You should want us dead. Leo shook his head. We do not hate you. We never did. We defended ourselves. That is all. Now we want to move forward. Not backward. We have learned that war solves nothing. It only creates more war. More pain. More loss. We want to break the cycle. We want to try something new. Something human. Vex was silent for a long time. He thought about his home world. His family. His life before the war. He had not seen them in years. He did not know if they were still alive. He did not know if they remembered him. He did not know if he remembered himself. Send us home, he said. Not to the edge of the galaxy. To our actual home. Let us see our families. Let us remember who we were. Then we will decide. Leo nodded. He raised the device. He pressed the button. A T opened in the sky. Not a weapon. A door. The KRYLL ships moved through the tear. One by one. They disappeared into the light. When the last ship was gone, the tear closed. The sky was clear. The war was over. The KRYLL returned to their home world. They found their families waiting. They found their cities intact. They found their lives still there, frozen in time, waiting for them to return. Vex walked through the streets of his home city. He saw children playing. He heard music playing. He smelled food cooking. He had forgotten what peace felt like. Now he remembered. He sent a message to Earth. Thank you, he said. We accept your offer. Let us build together. Grow together. Live together. Let us try something new. Something human. The Xylos watched all of this from afar. They had cut off contact with Earth. They had called the humans barbarians. Traitors. Monsters. But now they saw the truth. The humans had done more with their gift than the Xylos ever imagined. They had not just powered their world. They had changed the galaxy. They had turned a weapon into a door. An enemy into a friend. A war into a peace. Ambassador Seri stood before the Xylos council. Her voice was soft. Her eyes were wet. We were wrong, she said. We thought we understood peace. We did not. We thought we understood power. We did not. The humans have shown us that the greatest use of power is not to control. It is to choose. To choose peace over war. To choose creation over destruction. To choose love over hate. They have made the right choice. Not for themselves. For everyone. The Xylos restored contact with Earth. They apologized for their anger. Their fear. Their judgment. The humans forgave them. They always forgave. That was their way. Not because they were weak. Because they were strong. Strong enough to choose peace. Strong enough to choose love. Strong enough to choose life. Dr. Leo Chen stood on the surface of Earth, looking up at the stars. He was old now. His hair was gray. His face was lined. His hands shook. But his eyes were clear. His heart was full. He had done what he had set out to do. He had protected his people. He had defended his world. He had chosen peace. He looked at the device in his hand. It was not a weapon anymore. It was a tool. A tool for building. For healing. For connecting. He smiled. The humans had been given a gift. They had turned it into a weapon. Then they had turned it into something better. A door. A bridge. A hope. The galaxy would never be the same. Not because of the weapon. Because of the choice. The choice to stop fighting. To start building. To choose life. That was the human way. Not perfect. Not peaceful. Not pretty. But alive. And sometimes, Leo thought, alive was enough. More than enough. It was everything.